The wind was so perfect, like right into us, and it was just like,
Man, you guys have
like where
high
we
wind.
were going like this, literally. We'd dig, like you'd swing your tool, and your eyes would start watering so bad you couldn't breathe. You
It's
start
like
getting
cutting
drowning.
onions. You gotta
You know,
get away.
when you too much smoke at a campfire. Imagine that, but it's like a solid wall, and there's nowhere to turn. So we're like, literally, we go tink, 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 and your eyes would start like burning up, and we drop to the ground, and then get as close to the ground as we could. Take a big breath, and then come back up.
What was that happening?
Because there was so much smoke.
Oh.
We were in a canyon, in like a drainage, and it was closed wall, and all the fire had burned on this side, but not over here. So we were digging line to divide that, but the wind was blowing it perfectly up to where we were digging line.
Oh.
So there were just like, I mean, imagine the smoke you get from a campfire,
Yeah.
but like a full-size timber tree that's 80 feet tall that's fallen over and is burning, how much
Yeah.
smoke that produces,
Yeah.
and then there's one every 10 feet.
Wow.
So it's just a wall of smoke, and we just, like, just mucus just running out your nose, and, like, out your eyes, and, like,
Especially if you had a cold for the 2 weeks before you
Dude,
went.
people were so, that was such a horrible day. I had to keep driving them so hard, just like, keep going, because they'd stop digging. A bunch of them would just stop, and they'd be like, we're never gonna get out of the smoke unless you keep digging. And I wanted to stop, but I had to, like, override it and be the example, you know? I wanted to freaking run out of there. I hated that day. I was so mad. I was in such a bad mood that day. I've never been in such a bad mood as those 3 days.
Were they
It
at
was
the
so
beginning or?
No, just like the last
end?
4 days have been the most terrible days of my life. But there was hope because
There's fear in the
the
world.
sergeant just went over going, hey, snap out of it. And they're just like, guys were doing that, like starting to sit down and just stare. And I had to go grab them and be like, are you okay? Are you okay? Because it was just non-stop for 2 weeks. We've just been digging hotline. We didn't dig hotline only 3 days.
Wow.
And
People just dropping out like
yeah, and hotline is like,
take it anymore.
there's fire right there. You were just digging a trench, and then the terrain up there on that Beaver Creek Fire is, I'm not exaggerating, like this.
Yeah, they
So
put
you
some
take
on
a
the news,
step,
it's just
take a
extreme.
swing, and take a step, and like halfway through the day, you're just, and people are above you, taking a step, and it kicks rocks loose, so everyone's like ducking for cover, and rocks and stumps, and then stuff's burning above you. We showed up on this scene 3 days ago. We were thinking, oh, we're towards the end of the tour, maybe they'll give us an easier assignment, but we worked too well the rest of the tour.
Yeah.
So this division commander, everywhere he'd go, he'd request our crew got brought over there, and he's like a really good division, so he kept getting assigned to like all the gnarliest areas. So we were just following him all over this fire. And this last area, dude, we got down there, and we're already shot because we've been digging hotline for like 12 days. We roll up on this thing, and it's probably the most unsafe I've felt since that close call with Curry,
Yeah.
which also was in Idaho. I know it was close, but we hike down this hill, and we come up, and we come through this like foresty patch, and it's like the area we're gonna start working up. And I don't even know how to describe the scene, but like we come up through this forest patch, and I look, and we all just kind of stop because we're already shot. We're looking at this like area that we're gonna work. We come through the trees, and there is a tree. I'm not kidding. Like it's like round width,
Yeah.
like this, laying uphill, completely like on fire. And if you can imagine a slope like this, and then imagine fire, how
Yeah.
easily it would catch things above it.
Yeah.
Right? Because like
Yeah.
even if you cut stuff, fuel's just like this and just runs, right?
Yeah.
So this huge round, and it has flames coming off of it like 16 feet high.
I kept reading
Just like
runs of
boom.
crown, runs of crown.
So
like,
yeah, so we
gee, that
get
must
up
be
there.
what that is.
That's over here. That's to the left, and then right above us is this huge tree that's all burned out on the back side, right in front of our crew. And then it's just sitting on this little like kickstand, and there's just smoke shooting off in all directions. We've already done that Smoky Canyon death. We just came from that, and there's fire shooting up in all directions, and just the loud popping of all the needles, and trees just like going up, and then we just watch this huge snag. As soon as It was like someone pulled it, like saw we were there.
Okay,
It was like,
snag.
how about this? How about this? I'm like, we walk in and the snag just goes right into that other one that's just barely sitting there and lays up in it. And we were right below.
Oh.
I'm like, everybody left! It's like hitting her, and then all our bosses are like, get the hell out of here! And then we had to like dig super line. Like, first our boss was like, you're ready to build the biggest cup trench you've ever built! Because we have to build like these big trenches that are like this deep in the forest. So there's like rocks, we gotta dig through all the roots, cut them and everything. We gotta dig them super deep so if stuff burns off that big log that was laying there, it rolls down into that instead of the green below you and reigniting. So we, under that snag, we had to build those trenches like
With that just
20
on
feet,
the kickstand
just sitting there.
all day?
And we have like all of our supervisors just sitting there watching it, like just
It
waiting for it to
started
go
to
and
go,
yell.
yeah.
And we're all gonna duck down in the cup trench and let it roll over. And we're just,
Oh.
dig, and everyone's just beat to hell already. But we just had to make them dig. And they just, so he dug this giant cup trench, and then we had to dig line uphill. And this was probably the scariest part, is uphill, and then that snag's gonna fall either this way or this way, because it's got another tree leaning on it now. So we had to dig line past that. And our bosses were just like, as fast as you can. So now we're going up a slope with smoke below us blowing in our faces, with that snag sitting there, so the fear of that, having just dug that cup trench on day 12 and just taking a step when you're sideways, like trying to dig into the earth. It was so friggin' gnarly, dude, and we just like buzzed past that and then dug line all the way up that side and then had to go back down under it and dig line all the way up the other side. That was like 3 days ago. We spent all day just hiking up and down that mountain the last 3 days. Just,
Now, was this on the northeast side of it, where it was going
I have
toward?
no idea where we were. I was
'Cause
on
like there's
Division Whiskey,
Haley
that's all I
and
knew.
then Ketchum and Sun Valley, and then the thing had gone like this. Kind
We
of,
were kind of like headed towards the Ketchum side.
yeah,
We weren't on structure protection, but we were definitely on the side that was catching it from
yeah, it
going
was
into
going
towns and
this
stuff.
way, and Ketchum and,
Yeah. But we were
Sun Valley were
everywhere,
right
because
under it.
the first day we got there, we were on Division Mike, and then we went to Lima, and then we went to a totally different fire that was part of the complex there, the Elk,
Mhm.
no, we went to the McCann Fire,
Mhm.
and then that became part of the Beaver Creek Fire,
Yeah.
and they made it one fire, so now we were just on a division of the original fire we were on.
Yeah,
We got demobilized from it and went back to the original fire. I mean, we were running all over the place. And like, from the day we got there, like we rolled up and it was just like,
Go.
dig line for 14 days. And we were so wrecked. And on day 14, they tried to extend us.
I
We were
was telling
refused.
Dad that you can get
Couldn't
extended,
do
I was
it.
like, please
Yeah.
don't
We were
let
all,
them get
we were too
extended.
beat. And they were like, what if just one day, because they were so stoked on having us. They were putting hotshot crews on MOPA and putting us on hotline. Like, moving us into divisions that had hotshots in it. Kicking them out and us digging hotline. And they were back mopping up.
Yeah,
But it kind of sucked because every time we moved divisions that would happen and we just kept getting more and more beat and beat and beat.
yeah.
So we were just finally like falling apart and they're like, can you extend one day? We got everybody together and everyone was just like, I don't think so, dude.
Yeah.
and it would have been a lot of money because we were overtime hot and we probably would have got another extra day off, but we were getting to the point where like people were starting to make poor
Dangerous.
choices and
Yeah.
like not, or like zoning out and getting shell shocked because we had so many helicopters dropping all the time. It's like how the soldiers get like bomber, they hear the, just non-stop heavies just over us and calling in sling loads and just wake up at 5 in the morning at spy camp and just go all day. All the way until we went to sleep, we would have tasks to do non-stop.
Yeah.
And just helicopters and the sound of those like saws running, ran all day. Trees and us, ting, 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 ting,
Where'd you
ting, ting.
sleep? Like how far from the?
Because we'd have to hike, it took us an hour of hiking straight up that 30-degree slope when we'd sleep on top of the ridge. So there's fire in all directions around us and we'd sleep in this black, like burned out.
Nice.
So you
Does
can
it
see my hands
smell?
are all stained.
Does
This is
it
after
smell
a
all-
shower. I've already taken a shower.
Wow.
and I'm still stained black because
Your whole entire ear, that ear,
Yeah.
is just
I took
completely black.
I took an hour and a half long shower last night, and this is still what I look like because
Wow. You just get
if you
black.
would have seen me like yesterday, like solid, we were all like you could only see the whites of our eyes.
You get sick of that smell, that burnt smell? I mean,
You don't even
just
notice
get used
it
to it?
anymore. Yeah, it's just part of it.
Wow.
Can you smell it on me?
No,
No.
I can't.
That's surprising because
He's the only one of us that can smell because he doesn't smoke.
yeah, my pants smell like this solid fire, but it was a crazy fire. That's the
Yeah.
hardest tour I've ever been on in wildland.
Yeah, knew
I
it
was so
being
mad
really
by
hard.
day 12. I was so angry, like, and I was so tired of listening to the guys talk about what they were talking about. Just they're getting grosser and grosser, and I started getting really like stern and like crazy with them, and it was kind of like freaking them out. So I was starting to get like serious business. Well, because they needed to focus because we're getting towards the end, and like either they can go one direction or the other. They can start getting really loose and loopy. We're reining it all in and get really focused and use the last of their energy to stay disciplined. So I was just trying to keep them on track. But I was getting pulled in so many directions, man. Because Dusty was my squad boss, which was totally opposite of what I thought was going to happen. Remember, I was kind of like, I don't know what it's going to be like having Dusty. I've heard he's really intense. He's like the most teddy bear dude. He is intense in the fire sense, but he's like at the end of every day, and he's big. He's this big barrel-chested dude. And he's been like foreman, and he's division qualified, so he can be like a division commander. And I'm thinking, this guy's going to be hard to be lead. As him being my squad boss, he's going to be like just running us in the ground. And every day after day of work, he'd come up and be like, "Hey guys," like literally say it like that. "Hey guys, that's some good line you guys dug today." And they would just be like, and he's just a big. We didn't get pasta. We went back to camp one night and they go, "I'm gonna get chicken Alfredo tonight." And we get back to camp and they have a little board. I guessed it, chicken Alfredo. There's like a billion things they could have served us, and I guessed chicken Alfredo. And we're all in line, like waiting to wash our hands. And I see it on the board, and I turn around, and he's already.